The 417 Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. The 417 Gamer Podcast, episode 34, the one with Leeandra, Ben, and Botanik. In the four, Andrea and I discuss 4 events that we're looking forward to or have enjoyed in the 417 area. The one topic of the show, Andrea and I review the tile drafting, tile placement, steampunky gardening game, Botanik. And in the 7, we bring Ben and Leeandra back from episode 33 so they can answer the 7 questions of the 417 Gamer Podcast. Let's get on with the show. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast. My name's Dirk.
And I'm Andrea.
In the 4, we like to talk about 4 events that we've enjoyed or are looking forward to in the 417 area. Andrea, you was wanting to kick us off. What do you got?
Planet Comicon.
Yes.
If you have ever wanted to go to a Comic-Con, this is the largest regional one that I would recommend. It is March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at the Kansas City Convention Center. They've got some, as far as I'm concerned, some pretty huge names. They've got David Tennant from Doctor Who. They've got Andy Serkis from Lord of the Rings and some Marvel movies. They've got Jim Beaver and Richard Sprite from Supernatural. They have the voices of Rick and Morty from, what's the name of that show? Oh, yeah, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of anime guests this year, plus the normal, vendors hall and costume contest. They've got several actors from Scream that are going to be there. Tori Spelling, Brian Austin Green, Mario Lopez is going to be there.
They hit so many different genres and shows, and if you're not into the super fantasy or high fantasy or even sci-fi, or they usually hit something for anybody.
Yes. I would agree. I think that the Missouri Comic-Con was this weekend in Springfield. They had several cancellations, unfortunately. Rose McGowan,
coming in, and
Will Wheaton, the flights got canceled. They weren't able to make it in. Yeah. If you missed out on going to that one here in Springfield, Kansas City is your next best, biggest Comic-Con.
And winter Comic-Cons are always dicey anyway, because you don't know, especially Midwest-wise, what the weather's going to bring.
Absolutely.
You could have 60s one week, and you could have -8 the following.
Yeah. And this convention center is massive.
The one in Kansas City for Comic-Con.
Yeah, it takes up 6 city blocks. This thing is huge.
Yeah, lots of walking.
Lots of walking. So
we have collapsible seats somewhere.
Yeah, we do. We need to find those and take them with us.
They might
because
be in storage.
Yeah, the lines for the photo ops and the autograph lines can take a while to get through.
Yeah.
Plus the lines for the panels can take a while as well. But if you've been itching to go to a Comic-Con, highly recommend this one.
Second, we had Ben and Leeandra on last month, and we're going to talk on the last episode.
Yes.
So we're going to plug them again. MoonCityCon is coming back to the Hilton Garden Inn June 6th, 7th, and 8th. However, tickets go on sale February 28th, which I think is a Friday. Badges are going to be $60. However, if you get them before the time that badges open until March 14th, through the 14th, through Pi Day.
14th, yes.
Because the Ides of March, March 15th, will stab you in the back if you wait too long.
That's right.
You don't get the $15
stab your pocketbook is what it will
discount.
Do. $15 discount.
So $15 off your badge if you buy from February 28th through March 14th.
Mm-hmm. And if you've never been to a board gaming convention, this one here in Springfield, Missouri, is a beautiful, perfect local taste of the board game convention.
Yes, great staff, great events. It's always been a great time. They also have some expansion packs available if you go on their website at MoonCityCon.com. They have their expansion packs are T-shirt adders, hats, buttons. There's also a Fall Harvest game day, which you can add on to and be able to go to not only MoonCityCon, but the Fall Harvest, and that's always a good time. Andrea, what else you got?
Well, for those of us who like or play Pokemon, Pokemon Trivia is going to be February 21st at 7:30 p.m. at Dirk's Tavern. That is downtown Springfield, Missouri, at 210 West Commercial Street, Suite A. We are pretty big Pokemon buffs. We play Pokemon Go, collect a few cards, not as much as some other of our friends, not as much as say Ethan Gibbons, for example.
Yes.
I'm telling you, he knows every name of every Pokemon ever created. It is amazing. So yeah, if you love your Pokemons like we do, trivia night. Yeah. Check it out.
Last but not least, I wanted to highlight something that's coming up in April, which is something we've talked about maybe wanting to go to. They have a version of it in Kansas City, but the Springfield Botanical Gardens, which is over at Nathaniel Green.
Here in Springfield.
They're having their 2025 Cherry Blossom, Kite, and Pinata Festival. This is celebrated by the Springfield Sister Cities. Springfield has a sister city in Japan that is Isesaki, Japan, I think. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. I apologize. That's who they partner for the cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
And then the Pinata Festival, our sister city is Tahlequah, Mexico. That was horrible, and I apologize. But it's a fun little festival. Come out, see the kites that they're flying. Sometimes they have little seminars on showing you how to do things like prune your trees and make and or fly the kites. Wonderful time.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, as long as our weather holds, as we've talked about, the Midwest weather will give you an A or an F regardless of what you want. But that is going to take place, I had the date right in front of me, Saturday, April 5th. It'll start at 11 a.m. at the Nathaniel Green Park.
And I hope we get to make it.
I think so. I think we're going to try and dial it in, and I hope so too. Because we've had a lot of plans. We're like, hey, we should do this. And
then something goes awry.
Something goes awry. Lately it's been weather.
Weather related, yes. As we sit here waiting for the snowpocalypse of 2025 to arrive this week.
We were told like maybe 4 to 6 and then 6 to 8. Now they're like saying, hey, over 3 days you might get 12 to 14 inches.
Yeah. Blizzard conditions.
Yeah. But, all right, that was the 4 and the 417 Gamers. Let's go on to the 1.
To the 1.
All right.
Greetings from the Moon City. Mark your calendars. Badge sales kick off February 28th, 2025. Secure yours early and take advantage of our pre-boarding sale running through March 14th. Badge pricing, standard badges are $60, but early birds get an amazing $15 discount if you grab yours during the pre-boarding window. Expansion packs. Hey, we've only got 20 expansion packs, featuring exclusive perks such as a limited edition t-shirt, admission to our Fall Harvest game day, and more to be announced before launch. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend of gaming, friends, and fun. See you at MoonCityCon 2025 for Meeple Kind.
The 1 in the 417 Gamer Podcast is our topic of the show, and we are reviewing the tile drafting, tile placement, steampunky gardening game,
Botanik.
Botanik is designed by Frank Critton, Georgie Largy, Sebastian Ponchon, and the artist is Franck Dion, and this is published by Space Cowboys. In Botanik, players take the guise of one of the two steampunky scientists that are trying to... the main character in the story is Beatrix Burry. She has discovered a technology allowing her to mechanically generate all kinds of edibles, subtropical plants, stellar potatoes, Orion mandarins, and this new technology opens a way to save the people of Four Harms, prisoners of a world made of rust and toxic vapors. Basically, in the game, you're drafting tiles to put stuff together to make points.
Yes. You're connecting what it looks like water pipes to be able to water your flowers and plants.
You have a center board that is the way you interact. In the very there's your side of the board, your opponent's side of the board, and then like the center of the board where the pieces are. Where is it?
And the art's really cool. It's got that steampunky vibe. There are the pipes, there are the flowers and plants, and then every once in a while you'll get the character cards, the tile, I should say. And the art on them, it kind of reminds me of the Tim Burton version of Alice in Wonderland, like how Helena Bonham Carter looked as the Queen of Hearts, you know.
Yeah.
That's how that kind of style is how the characters look in there.
Just like way over the top.
Yeah, for sure. You can use them in one of two ways. You can place them in the center to release tiles, or you can place them on your side of the board, and when that tile gets released to you, you can take that character card and use it to select one of the center row tiles. And that is the only way you can get a tile from the center row, is by using one of the characters.
Yep. So as you talked about, the center is called the registry. You have your side of the registry, your opponent's side of the registry, and then the center. The center will be distributed 5 tiles to start. And then whenever on a player's turn, they'll have the active pawn. They'll take 3 tiles out. And you're going to draft those 3 tiles to place them in the registries. You can either place them on your side or you can place them in the center. You can place them on your side as long as they match with something from the center, either by type or by color. And the type, there are different styles and shapes of pipes. There are vegetables and there are plants. And then there are scientists. And the scientists were the characters you were talking about. And when you play your piece to your side, matching color or type, the only way for it to get released, as you were talking about, is to play a tile in the middle that does no longer match type or color. It can't match either one to get released. Then it comes to you and you get to place it. So there's also that strategy that whenever you're releasing a thing, can you put a tile in the middle to where it may match your opponent's color now and not the type, but it releases to you? Or at the same time, maybe you see something they're trying to build up to, and there's some mean parts where you can go ahead and release their tile to where they're not ready to place it.
Right.
Now, in the rules, it does say whenever you're placing, you place to your own tableau when they're released. You start with what looks like your scientist's head. That's where you start, or it's like a statue head. That starts with your pipes. And then as you build out from that, it says that whenever you place the tiles, they have to be adjacent. And then at the end of the game, if you have your opponent look over your board, if pipes aren't directly connected, those pieces get taken out.
Yeah.
So you could potentially place a tile adjacent to where the pipes aren't connecting yet and try and build up a connection too.
Yeah. Unlike a game like Carcassonne, where you have to place it.
Yeah, cities had to match cities.
Yeah, and road had to connect to road.
Absolutely.
But this one, your pipes don't have to connect, and you can just get them later if you can.
Yeah.
You can't always make that work.
No, you can't, but it's a fun puzzle to try and
do.
It's
a quick little game, and there are limited tiles. How many tiles are in the game total? Because I feel like we always run out of tiles.
Yeah.
Just about when I'm like about to get everything connected. I was like, oh, how many tiles are left?
There are 65 tiles divided into 5 different colors. And then of each of the pipe connectors, there are 3 of each, except for the one that has 4 connectors. There's only 1 of each of those.
Yeah.
Then each color has a plant, each color has a vegetable, and each color has a mecha botanist.
Yeah. So on a lot of the tiles will get eaten up basically on that center tableau where neither of us gets to place or use the tile. So that it sounds like 65 is a lot of tiles, but when you consider a lot of them won't get put in your tableau because they'll be eaten up in the middle.
Yep.
because once, like I said, the only way to get a tile to use out of that center is to place one of the scientists in there, and then you can take a tile there. But a lot of those tiles end up not being usable into either tableau. So it does go quite quickly.
All right, Andrea, whenever we review these games, we judge them in 5 criteria. Presentation, how does it look on the table? Also, how does the board or the board game's box art, how does it look on your shelf or in a retail setting? Then our second criteria is components and rulebook. How nice are the components? How hard is that rulebook to get through? Because that's a barrier for some people.
Oh, for sure.
Third is gameplay. How intuitive is the gameplay? How easy is it to get in and out of? How easy is it to teach, and how easy is it to learn? Then theme. How does the game marry its theme to what you're playing? Do you feel like it's thematic, and do you enjoy the theme? And then finally, it factor. How much do you want to play this game? Andrea, presentation on Botanik.
Like I said, I really dig the art. It's very, very steampunky. When you first start playing, there's not much to see because you haven't...
Yeah?
Sorry, the dog. Because you haven't got your tiles out yet. But once you get all your pipes connected, you have a pretty cool looking... like you said, map connection. The flowers are cool looking, and the plants and the vegetables. It definitely doesn't have the table presence of a lot of other games. So I'm going to give it, in this area, a lower score. Mm-hmm. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't have that pow factor that a lot of our other bigger games have. So I'll give it a 3.0.
You're giving it a 3. Okay. I'm a little strong on this. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
For a 2-player game, I think the box art is something different than everything else.
Yeah.
It sets nice. The lettering, you can see what the game is and all that. When it's on the table and you take a picture of it and you post it to your Instagrams, it looks really, really nice. And when it's done, I want to play it again.
I would agree with you there.
And we've not brought it out to a game night yet, which that's something we need to do, is another 2-player game night. Because we haven't done that in a while. Bring a couple 2-players out and start teaching some of our 417Gamer friends.
I think it's because it is a 2-player game. It stays here at home because we could play it here. We don't need to take it out.
Components and rulebook. I think the rulebook is super easy to get through. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, which sounds like a lot, but a lot of it is art and directions and examples, which is very, very helpful. Mm-hmm.
I will say that the first couple times we played it, we did play it wrong.
Yeah.
Because the center tableau, you're supposed to flip out starting tiles. We did not do that. We just started playing.
Yeah, because we just watched somebody else play it, and I didn't read the rules because it was explained to me. I'm like, you do this, you do that. And I didn't listen to setup because they just said, when it's somebody's turn, you flip out 3 tiles and you draft. And we just started doing that with no tiles in the center. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of awkward. And then I read the rules while we were on the cruise.
Makes so much more sense.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this makes way more sense. And I told the person that taught us, he goes, oh, yeah, you need that part. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that was a big reason why I put that on my New Year's resolutions, is to read my rule books. Because while we were on the cruise, I'm like, the game that we thought was cute became really, really freaking good.
Yeah.
So, components and rulebook, I'm going to give this a 4 because the rulebook was easy for me to get through.
Okay.
And like I said, I read it on the cruise. And when you're on the cruise and you're having fun doing everything else, you really don't want to slog through a rulebook, and the rulebook has any kind of issues. We had 4 other games with us.
Yeah.
We had like Splendor Duel, we had Flip 7, we had other things that would have played easier and smoother.
But we still kept going back to this one.
But we went to Botanik several times. So
I'll give it a 3.75.
Okay. And we also have the promo coin that does nothing except for heads, tails on who goes first.
Choose first player, that's it.
And you have the player selector little rock that you move back and forth to signify whose turn it is.
Which actually I do like because
Ooh, I'm going to knock this back down to 3.75.
All right.
Because it needs a draw bag.
It doesn't come with a drawback. You stack the tiles like you would in a Carcassonne.
Yeah, you'd shuffle them up and stack them, which is okay.
Yeah, but we like our drawback.
And actually, if we rated it with the drawback that our friend Catherine made, I'd probably put it up to 4.25.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It gets at least, it might even get a whole point. But I don't know that I could give components a 5 or a 4.5 because Catherine knitted me a bag.
Agreed.
I think I'd give Catherine's knitted bag the 4.5, and then the components would just get its own score. Gameplay. This is tile drafting, tile laying, puzzle making. The gameplay I thought was an easy teach once I read the rule book.
Right.
I thought it was pretty easy to understand. Mm-hmm. I thought it was very fun. There's a little bit of nuance here and there, but the scoring is very simple. Yeah. At the end, if you have an adjacent grouping of at least 3 of the same color or more, you count every tile in that. That's points for each of the colors. And then you get points for all the flowers that you have on your board, except for the plants and the vegetables that have flowers. They must be connected to a pipe of their own color to score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. Pretty easy to score, pretty easy to play.
Yeah.
There's that little tension, the push-pull. And then also, since we have the draw bag, there's that, we're getting close. And you're like,
how many tiles are left? Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 tiles on my side of the board, and I need to make sure they get released. But what if what I pull out of that bag's better than what I have? So gameplay, I'm going to put this at a 4. I love the gameplay.
That's what I was going to say, a 4.0.
That brings us to the theme. Your steampunky gardeners.
Yeah.
It's a cute theme, and I like that they went outside the box to do it.
The box.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
Theme for you. What are you giving on theme?
I'd give it a 4.0. I think that it's pretty self-explanatory. Connect the pipes to water your flowers.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm going to give it 4 as well, and I'm giving it a 4 based on this size of a box, this size of a game, and the theme is there. It's not... There's... Very rarely have I played a small box game that's just chock full of theme. Mm-hmm. All right, I talked myself down to 3.75.
Oh.
I know. Because honestly, I started thinking, I'm like, no, some of the escape room in a box games, their theme would be way up there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or this one's it's good, it's fine. I think 3.75 is where I'm feeling it should be theme-wise.
I'll leave mine where
You can leave yours at a 4. Now we bring it to It Factor. How much do you want to play this game? This is one of our newer shinies, and over time, but we played the crap out of this game.
We have, and we're not tired of it yet.
No, we're not. I'm going to let you go first. What's your score for It Factor?
So, if you're listening to this, and I've given it, 3s and 4s, 4.0 is the highest I've given it. My desire to play this game is higher than any of the values that I've given for components or playability or anything. So my desire to play it, I'm going to go 4.25.
Ooh.
Because it does play so quick and so well balanced as a 2-player game. That yeah, it's definitely one of I'll reach for it before I'll reach for others.
All right. I'm going to go for right now. It's 4.5.
All right.
I love the drafting. I love the tile placement. I like playing games with you where there's the mean actions aren't overtly mean.
No.
There's smart tactical decisions you'll take.
Yeah.
And we both, when that happens, you're like, but
that was a smart move.
There's no I destroy your city card.
No.
And you're like, it took me 4 turns to make that city. On this one, that tile that you might have gotten released before you wanted to was probably sitting out there for at least a turn or 2.
Yeah.
And you probably had the opportunity to release it yourself.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, I was sitting on a little bit too long. I get that.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I guess if you really wanted to be a dick, you could absolutely just release everything they put on there just to and you get this, and you get this.
Yeah, but you'd be hurting yourself doing that, so
exactly.
What's the point?
But I still think if you had played the game enough and you can start using the adjacency rule and then start connecting your pipes back, you might be able to just, hose them with it.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I'm at a 4.5 right now. I really love this game. And I love that we have the drawback that Catherine made us.
Yeah.
So, presentation. Andrew, you were a 3. I'm a 3.5. Components of rulebook, we're both 3.75s. Gameplay, we're both 4s. Theme, you're at a 4. I'm at a 3.75. I talked myself down because I started thinking about some of the small box games we have. And I think there's a couple that do a little bit better theme. But this still does pretty good theme, decent theme in a small box, especially for a Euro tile drafter.
Yeah.
And then it factor, you're at 4.25, and currently I'm at 4.5. After we're done, I would absolutely play this again.
I might actually raise mine because as we sit here, I'm looking at it being like, well, let's hurry up and finish this recording and let's play real quick. So maybe it's even higher than I thought.
What is it?
Let's put it at 4.5.
4.5? All right, we can put it at 4.5. That means that if you take the total points and you divide by the amount, that gets our final score. Andrea, for Botanik, you're at a 77. I'm at a 78. Thanks for listening. Let's go on to the 7. Andrew, you want to go play?
Let's do it.
All right, let's play some Botanik. The 7 in the 417Gamer Podcast is 7 of a given category. Ben, Leeandra, you guys were nice enough to come back on for another episode. And you're going to answer the 7 questions of the 417Gamer Podcast. You guys didn't get to do it 2 years ago because we didn't have this. We just started this last year. And it's been going pretty good. Nobody's ran away crying yet.
That's good.
Is one of the questions, what's in the box?
No. Question number 1. What is the earliest game you remember playing? And what was your first hobby game?
Can I answer this?
Yeah, go for it.
I remember in kindergarten, my bedroom, and in the closet was Cooties. It's from 1949, and it's a little caterpillar game. So I was like, I was like 5 or 6 years old. I totally remember it.
Did you ever actually play it?
I absolutely played it.
I played Cooties as well, and Ants in the Pants.
Yep.
Yes,
The
yes.
little plastic ants that you try to flick into the pants, and
Yes.
then you got mad. Because whoever had
That one
the
I
better
do.
dexterity would just kill everybody else.
So that would have been like 1985.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Cooties, and they still make it. To
They
this
do,
day.
they
Yeah.
do. And what's yours?
Well, what's your first hobby game?
Oh, my first hobby game was Lords of Waterdeep. It was my very first one. That was my
a good
introduction
one.
to all of board games. That was it.
It's great.
Pretty much. So my first game that I remember, we had a lot of board games around. I remember playing Monopoly and stuff. But before all of that, I think it had to be Hungry Hungry Hippos, because we had a plethora of marbles to play with,
Yeah.
and then I know we had a working version of Hungry Hippos. We probably had lots of other. I know we had now I'm blanking on the name, but the one you do the tournament of.
Oh, Battling Tops.
Battling Tops.
Yeah.
We had a Battling Tops
Wow.
set, but I know that the ripcords were broken, and so
Sure.
we couldn't actually use it, but we would just spin the tops with our hands,
Yeah.
But we had that, but I remember playing Hungry Hungry Hippos constantly. Like,
What was
that
your first hobby
super
game?
fun. Again, still in print. My first hobby game, what did I put down? And I think this might not be true, but I'm going to say it just because it's the first one I remember. I never really played. It would have been Lords of
It was
Waterdeep
Lords
as
of
well.
Waterdeep.
But when I branched out from just Lee and I playing, I came up to Metagames for the first time. Vaughn introduced me to the 417Gamers. And the first night that I showed up there, when Metagames looked totally different than it does now, we were in the back room area, and it was Dead of Winter, which, having only really gotten into and playing like a worker placement style Lords of Waterdeep, this is a worker placement, but also, what is it? What would you say? It's a trader game. It's
potential
a
trader.
potential trader game. So it's introducing so many ideas.
Semi-cooperative.
Semi-co-op. That idea of potentially having a trader, which, I didn't know anything about Battlestar Galactica yet or anything like that. I didn't know the roots of it. I hadn't even played, Avalon or Resistance or anything like that yet. So that was a big jump into like the possibilities of what games
We
are.
really had no
could
idea what
do.
the heck we were getting ourselves into.
And I don't think that game turned out to be that great of a game, honestly, but I've played it a few times and I always have fun with it.
For
It's
what
just
it
got
did at
flaws,
its time,
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
But trying to go back to it, there are several games that have iterated on it, and I feel like they do it better.
Made it better, yeah.
But I still give all the respect in the world because somebody thought up that style and the way they did it in the first place.
But then you could go back to Lords of Waterdeep. Like I still
That's the
do,
thing,
and
yeah.
it's still such a great game.
Yeah, I
It's
haven't
on our
played
10 for 10.
I know it's
absolutely,
great.
and I haven't
saw
played
that.
She
Dead
got
of
us some map
Winter.
for Christmas.
I love it.
I haven't played Dead of Winter in 10 years probably, but yeah, we played Lords of Waterdeep all the time.
Yep.
So
Nice.
that's the difference between staying power.
Yeah.
Question number 2: what color do you prefer to play as?
Oh, that was an easy
Oh,
one.
it's so easy. What about you?
Yeah, black and green. I'm black, he's green.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Always.
And I went so far as to get a tattoo
Of a
green
green
meeple because I got sick of
So you
people.
could argue with people
Yeah,
on game
because,
night.
because a lot of people like green, it turns out, and I really am this type of like I play it so much that if you take green, I'm going to move your pieces, so you might as well just give it up because I will screw the game up if you don't let me.
If I
play
have
green.
to, if there's no black, I'll take
Pink
purple
or
or
purple.
gray or something like that, or pink. But if I
black
want
is-
black, yeah.
All right. Question number 3: what style of games do you prefer to play? And my phone's doing a thing.
What styles do you tend to shy away from?
Yeah, thank
Yes, you're welcome.
That's a change from a previous question.
I enjoy worker placements and a dry euro. Those are my two favorite if I have to choose.
Like
Yeah.
dry Euro, are you talking like brass?
Like brass,
Yeah.
Tricarion.
Yeah.
Like I like those kind of really deep thinky long games.
Yep.
I hate dexterity games. I suck at them. I hate them. And I do not like Screw Thy Neighbor games. They make me angry.
You pretty much don't like any game where something, which is interesting because when we get to our lists at some point, it's like we play we play Magic together, which is completely, just attacking. But it's the only game of that type that we play.
It's a different type of
It
attacking. If
is.
it's
It
head to
is.
head, that's one thing.
Mhm.
But if it's 4 people and you feel like the rug got pulled out from
Yes.
under you,
Yes.
Yep.
and you're watching 3 other people like race ahead of you, you're like,
Yes.
that sucks.
Yep.
So like a perfect example when we first started playing board games was Courtiers.
Courtier, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that game made me so angry. It was
Because
so-
it's a game of like just it's a cube pusher about just getting influence of different courts or different sections of medieval court, and basically it's all about just manipulating getting your cubes on.
And he would
this
just
places.
take my things.
And there's
as soon
so
as I
many
had
ways
enough
to just
take 'em, and
as
then
soon
it
as you
was
put
gone.
something down, I'll play a card that immediately lets me move that thing to somewhere else or something, and that she's just like, leave my stuff alone.
We do not play the mean cards in
Arc Nova.
Arc Nova if we're playing 2-player.
We don't play
Although-
it in Obsession either. There's mean
Yeah.
cards in Obsession, and we don't play them.
And then, because Arc Nova gives you the option. You can play the mean version or you can play the nice version, which basically lets you just draw some cards.
Yeah,
And although Terraforming Mars rules are out the door.
yeah,
Yeah.
If you're going to demos down and kill my plants,
Yeah.
I understand that.
but see there's so many different cards in that game that the likelihood that that's going to happen that often is
Yeah.
not that great.
Oh,
It's
in
not-
our 2-player games, somebody's getting their plants
Really?
killed. Yeah.
Oh, sadness.
We also tend to just like not grab those cards. You know what I mean? Like if that's what the
Wait, whoa.
Well,
Hold
I will,
up.
but-
No,
sir,
because
hold
those
up.
cards will give you like anywhere from 2 to like 4 terraforming ratings. That's points.
He
pretty
says
good.
we tend to not grab those cards. He is full of malarkey. We're playing Obsession, and he takes the meanest card ever and takes all of my reputation. And by the way, this was the day I had to put my dog down, so I am literally screaming at him like I was
my dog
so
too.
mad.
Do I not deserve
And
joy?
my dog died, and then he took all my reputation. I was done. It was done.
Flip table.
Flip the table.
She was mad. That's the card they don't play with anymore.
And it's because of you. So what are yours, babe?
Let's see. So what were the questions?
What style of game do you prefer? What style of game do you shy away from?
So similarly, I mean, my favorite mechanism of game is worker placement. I also, it's going to kind of counterintuitive, but I do like deck building I really enjoy deck building as a small part of a game,
yeah.
but
You say
not
that as
as
you
the
play
whole.
Commander all the time.
That's different. That's not deck building, and that's not a deck building game.
That's
How-
deck construction.
That's a construction game.
What the hell's the
Deck
difference?
building is when you're drawing from a pool. So like we were talking about mycelia. What's the Arnak,
Dominion.
Lost Ruins of Arnak,
Yeah.
but Dominion is
Dune
a pure,
Imperium.
yeah. So for me, that's my two favorite types: worker placement, and I love deck building as a part of a game.
Yeah.
But my least favorite is pure deck building games. Like, I do not like Dominion. I don't like Ascension or anything like that. That's just that you're just building a deck.
Would Gwent be considered construction or building?
Construction, because you're building your deck at the beginning of the game.
You build your deck,
Alright.
before
not
you
getting-
bring it out to game
Yeah,
night.
you're
Okay.
not getting new cards in your deck. Whereas like Mycelia that we just played the other day is a deck building game, but it's a very small deck that you're building, and that's also not the only thing you're doing. You're using those cards to then manipulate things on a board, which is that to me is a lot more effective than I just play all my cards out and I get money and then I buy more cards and then I play all my cards out and I get money and I buy more cards and I put that to me is pretty boring. But
Yeah.
And question number 4: how many games are in your personal collection? Estimate.
Leandra's is about 2. And mine's
story.
about 450 to 500 right now.
I say that's collective. So we have like 452.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Number 5: is there a game that you have not won but you really want to?
Yes. Scythe. I've
Yeah.
never won Scythe. Ever.
Now, we haven't played Scythe in a long time, but we used to play it pretty frequently.
We did. I've
Yeah.
never won.
And it's one of those where I don't know. It took you a while to get to the point where you were like, I don't want to play Scythe right now. You used to actually, because it is so fun to play.
It is fun, but when you never win, it's
Yeah.
kind of disheartening.
Yeah. Yep. And that's one we just haven't gotten back to in a long
What's
time.
yours?
Mine is Twilight Imperium, I guess 3rd edition at this point, but 4th edition.
Fourth.
Yeah. I think I played 3rd and 4th. I played like 3 times. Now that game is 4 or 5 hour investment, which is why I really and I have come close. The last 2 times that I played, I came very close to winning. Like, I really thought the last time that I was going to win, and then it gets yanked out from under you at the very end. And it's such an anathema to the. I like that game, but it is not my style of game. But it's the best. It's the closest that kind of game could get to me liking it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just such an investment of time and everything.
Sure.
But it doesn't suffer from some of the other games that have this long. I even don't like to play Great Western Trail that much because I'm not good at it, and it's not as long as Twilight Imperium, but it's pretty long. And
Play
I
it at 2
know
and 3
pretty
if you
early.
can.
I know pretty early I'm going to lose, and then it's like there's no way for me to catch up. Whereas in Twilight Imperium, a good maneuver right towards the end, as long as you've not done anything stupid, you can. And it's usually how people win. They don't win by being on top. They win by pulling it out right in that last turn.
Staying middling.
Yep, stay middling. And so that's one I would really like to win someday.
Number 6: one piece of advice you'd send back to yourself as you were just getting in the hobby.
Leandra?
Mine would be we need a bigger house.
Yeah.
I thought it was D&D is a gateway drug.
Or D&D is a gateway drug. I had answers, and then I left them at home, and then I had to rewrite
Oh, you
answers.
remade 'em.
So
Okay.
I did change it a little bit. So that's probably 2 parts to that. D&D
Yeah.
is a gateway, and we need a bigger house.
I'm all for. I agree with both of those things. Me, I would just say you don't need to buy every game that looks remotely
Sure you
cool.
do.
How many games do you have at home that are not even opened?
I have a lot less than I used to because now, well, I have a I don't have a shelf of shame. I just look around at things and I'm strictly at a 1 in 1 out thing nowadays because I don't have any more room. So I will look at things and go, not that I haven't played. If I haven't played it and it's been a long time, I'll make an attempt to go, maybe I should play that before I get rid of it. But there's other things that I'm like, I even like this game a lot, but it's been 3-4 years since I
he
played it. Do I
literally
need to keep
has
that?
the whole bar, right? And
Yeah.
then he's taken over the closet in my office. And then he has a corner in the garage that is just more gaming pieces, either, Dungeons and Dragons or whatever it might be. Like, it's just spreading.
Yeah.
It's just spreading. And I know when the kid moves out, he'll take over that room too.
Well, I'm much more picky about board games now. Now my obsession, of course, now is Magic, which takes a lot of money, and the cards are a little bit easier to store. Now they do take over too, but you could fit a lot of Magic cards in a board game box, So, but I'm much more picky now about my board game selections. I want to maybe play that game first, or just really read the rules and
Do you
stuff
wanna
like
play
that.
it
The
before
demo
it gets
days
Yeah.
that Sansu and Jen do in the group at Village Meeple and Metagames are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to try something and then decide if you like it. You know, like, God, what a foreign concept. Because I will just look at, in the old days, I would just look at the cover
Artwork,
of something
it's
and
like,
maybe
I
be
like
like, here's the either the designer or the company. I'm just like, auto buy.
Yeah, for me, designer and gameplay style, mechanics.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like Feld or Uwe, worker placement, this, that, or the other, it was an instant buy for me.
Yep.
Or YouTube videos. If Shut Up and Sit Down said this is a great game, I was buying that
You're done,
immediately.
yeah.
Well, and I mean, this may be a little bit off topic, but that's kind of, I think it all depends on the kind of media you consume, kind of with all of your buying things. But it's like the same thing with me. It's like when I stopped listening to board game podcasts as much, I immediately bought way less board games.
Yeah.
Then I started listening to Magic podcasts, and I immediately bought way more Magic stuff. I think it's just about like you hear about something, it sounds remotely cool, and then you're just like, boom, put it in the cart, and then think about it later. And then
We literally get Magic cards delivered to our house every single day. Multiple envelopes every
Another
day.
magic card. Another magic card.
Every day.
it's a nice little trickle of
All right, question 7. What are your top 7 games of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah, your favorite 7 games?
switch on and off. Well, and I'm gonna say,
Or just right now, what are your favorite 7
Yeah.
games?
Right, we have a right now list.
I feel like
Sure.
we've done
Yeah.
the top.
right now.
I feel like we've done our top games so many times that they would honestly kind of stay stale.
Yeah. Right
um,
now, Gnome Hollow.
Yep. So
Is that
number
7?
one.
well,
that
that's number one
Yeah.
right now.
Oh,
I
we have
think.
to list it?
No. I'll just go ahead and put them down.
These are in no particular order. I
You're
would
not
say.
really.
No Hollow.
No. Harvest. We had
Harvest.
a lot of fun with
Harvest
that.
is a really cool game by I think it's Keymaster Games that does parks and stuff like that. It's a little. It's like Agricola light, but with some Tetris-y, style. Your farm, your actual planting ground is like a 5x5 grid, and they're polyomino pieces that you're planting. So you have to lay your farm out in that way, and then you're just doing light worker placement and stuff. It's super cute.
Pretty
It's super
cute.
fun.
Yeah.
We've been playing that one.
Forest Shuffle.
We love Forest
We
Shuffle.
have been playing some Forest Shuffle. And then we got the expansion, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we still. So I believe it was kind of weird. We put the Alpine expansion, immediately sold out everywhere, and so we put that on pre-order for Meta, and then they finally called us the other day and we're like, we got the expansion of Forest Shuffle, and I'm like, sweet, I'll be by to pick it up. Got it. It's the 3rd expansion. There's been another one since then, so I still don't have the Alpine one, but we play it a lot on Board Game Arena too, because it's just so easy to play on there.
And you had a copy of Alpine as well, because they got both of them
They
in.
might. I didn't
They
check.
got Edge of the Forest, because that came out at Essen, and
Yep.
we made sure we got that, and then they also have the Alpine.
Yeah, we got the newest one. Alan had just let me know that he stuck one back, and I assumed it was the one that I had pre-ordered a long time ago.
And the nice thing now, instead of just having to manually count cards, they say shuffle it all together.
Yep, and just
make
take a few out.
five piles, and for a 2-player game, take 2 of the piles out.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah, instead
That's
of
nice.
like count out 46
Yeah,
cards,
yeah.
and now you have a 2-player game.
Which is wonderful with the BGA. You don't have
it
to
just
think
does all
about
that
it. It
for
just
you.
does it for
and
you.
it does have, and I assume we haven't logged in there in just a little while, but I assume they have the new expansion because they had the Alpine expansion, so you could just pick and choose which ones you want to
Yeah.
add and whatnot.
So is 3. What's 4?
River Valley Glassworks.
Yes.
And we got the expansion of that at
Well, I got the
Village
deluxe
Meeple
Yep.
Nice.
Board Game Cafe during their Christmas
Yep.
special.
So we had been playing the crap out of that game ever since it came out. Very cool little Azul type puzzly game.
Love that game.
And the one thing that I did after playing it several times, I was like, it's so cool, but it'd be cool if it had a little like some asymmetrical stuff going on or something like that. And so I was looking into the deluxe version. It was impossible to get a hold of for less than hundreds of dollars.
Yep.
Well, we went to the White Elephant thing, and it was one of the at Village Meeple, and it was one of the things. And so I got into a hot bidding war back and forth with that thing.
but it was all for charity.
Yeah,
so
it's all for
Sure,
charity,
yeah,
so-
yeah.
and
Yep.
so I ended up with it. So
Nice.
my original version is going to be going into the Play to Win from Moon City.
Yes.
It's just a fantastic
It
game.
It is.
And the deluxe version does give you modules to add in for some more, extended gameplay.
So,
Number 5.
Number 5, Sea Salt and Paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so much fun. Like, it's just a
Cute.
fun little game. We just play at the bar, don't
Yeah.
really want to get all of Magic out, which
Right.
is the next on our list. We just don't want to get all of Magic out. Let's just play Sea Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a weird game. It's like you think it's so simple. Once you start playing it, you get it. But it's like then once you go to teach it to somebody, you're like, there's these little caveats. And the one thing that I don't even understand about the rules of that game is like, I guess there's a situation where you don't have 7 points and then you reveal and then you just lose completely out.
Yeah.
Like, but because you call when you have 7, right? But they don't have to be revealed points.
No, they don't.
They can be hidden.
Right.
So,
But why
could
would
just
you
throw-
ever call? if
Yeah, but you
have
could just
less
throw
than
the whole
7?
game out of whack by just calling it early.
sure,
and
yeah,
then
you could
everybody,
be a
you know what I
jerk
mean?
hole.
Like,
Could.
But
You
you have to
could.
reveal.
But you have
Yeah,
to
you
reveal.
reveal then, but
and then you're
then-
not going to get
if
any
you
points.
reveal and you don't have the 7, then you weren't able to call, and you put it back
you
down.
just put it back down?
Now everybody
Okay,
knows
is that
what
all
you
do?
have.
Oh, okay.
So that would
See,
suck for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done that, but I don't know. There's
But I mean,
just
there's
doesn't
one where
really
you can
explain.
stop or you can let it ride, and
Yep,
if you
yep.
let it ride, you're the only one that scores everything. And everybody else just gets color bonus.
And we've got the expansion for that too, which the only weird thing was they came on 2 different card stocks, so we had to sleeve the
Yep.
cards.
That's
because
weird. Yeah.
One was a lot better card stock than the other
Yeah,
one.
that
but
was weird.
It's a super fun little game, but it's got a really weird rule set for such a small little
Yeah.
game, you know.
I like it.
But yep,
Number 6.
Commander.
Commander, Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
We don't play 60 card formats. We only play Commander, but we also primarily play 2 players, which is
Yeah.
not really what most people would say is the way to go, but it's the way we like to play. And we don't change the rules. There are official 2-player rules for Commander, but we just play as if we're playing multiplayer, same amount of life total and everything. Games still go very fast at 2 players for the
Yeah.
most part, so
20
we can
minutes-ish.
knock out a game of
Yeah, that's
10,
awesome.
20 minutes. And the reason that we play as much of that as we do is because A, because I'm obsessed with it right now, and B, because it's
Right now.
zero setup.
Wait, right now?
Well, for a couple of years. But it's zero setup. Like, it's just grab your deck and everything is
And I
already
only
there,
play with
and
the
you
same
just
3 decks.
play. Yeah.
Like, really only the same
You have
2
your
decks.
vampire
Sure.
girl, and you have a thing, and another thing.
And
vampire
another vampire. I have the same
girls.
vampire girl and 2 different decks. And then I have my Night Court deck,
Yep, which is fairies.
which is very
And I only have 70 other decks, so it's
Yeah.
pretty easy, you know.
Yeah.
70-ish.
But yeah, so that's our go-to. Really, that's probably our most played game.
It is definitely our most played. Yeah.
And then number 7.
Orleans.
I love that
So we haven't
love
played in a
that
while,
game.
but there was a time where
game. I just played not very long ago
No,
with
you
my
did.
sister
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Kelsey.
So there was a time where Orleans was hitting the table pretty regularly, and it suffers the death of all things. When you get too many expansions for it, then it's like you play it less and less, which is what happened. We got everything for it, and then it's like we've played it less and less since we've done that. But great
It's one of my
game, and
favorites.
it's, if nothing else, it barely. I'm surprised it edged out Quacks, but it's the deeper version of Quacks. You know, basically
Yeah.
the same bag building idea. We all love Quacks, but if you want to get a little bit more serious, a little bit more Euro-y, you play Orleans.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. That was the 7 in the 417Gamer podcast. Guys, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having us.
And after this drops, this will drop on the 20th. Badges for MoonCityCon will go on sale February 28th.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And there's an early bird promotion where you get $15 off your badge, and it's only for a
Absolutely.
limited time.
Oh.
It will end on Pi Day.
Yep. No reason not to take
They're
advantage
still
of it.
doing a Pi Day?
We're going to end it on Pi Day.
We're going to end it on
Oh.
Pi Day. Yes.
314, now you
314.
know.
314.
Understood. Get your badges for MoonCityCon. Happens June
6th, 7th, and 8th.
at the Hilton Garden Inn.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Springfield. We'll see you there.
The 417 Gamer podcast is recorded and produced by Andrea and Rick Bagwell. The intro music we use, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and the outro music, Making Up for Lost Time, was created by Origami Reptica. For links to our show notes, the music, and guest links, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. Until next time, keep gaming in the 417.